everybody wants to be happy in life. There are some people that are just miserable and they don't even experience an internal happiness until they've succeeded in making somebody else miserable. If you are somebody that displays willful ignorance, then like you have a problem. And again, I don't want you anywhere around me, because if you are smart enough to be aware, but you purposely are ignorant and you go out of your way to just be negative and drag everybody down, that's not the personality that I want around myself. You will live a happier, healthier existence by just simply contributing positive into your environment, by developing a positive energy so that when your energy comes in contact with somebody else's, it is a warm energy. It is well received. You are welcoming to the group, whether in your personal or your business life. And we are back with another episode of the Julius Files. I am your host, Jasan Julius, and welcome to the water cooler for small business. And we do have another water cooler episode. I'm going to label this the power of positivity, because I've had some events happen here lately, and then I made some comments that elicited some responses that, well, it just got me thinking. And then through looking back on some old movies and stumbling across some research, it got me thinking on a much deeper level. So any of you remember Ghostbusters? And for those of you that remember Ghostbusters, you remember the green and the red slime. And like the green slime, like they dripped a little bit of it into a toaster, and the toaster started popping. And the red slime, let's just say that it was full of negativity, and if you got any of it on you, then it literally adjusted your mindset, your frame of mind. You just became that much more of a negative person. And I do laugh because I will look back at all of the movies that I watched in the 80s and maybe in the 90s, but the point is that it was all, I guess at the time, would be considered a fantasy or sci-fi, and then out of it becomes a whole lot of research or things that like my own was like, I would look at this and think, if somebody can imagine this back then it can be brought into fruition today. And much the same way with research, where some of the things might be thought of as fantasy, and then when you actually start putting it to scientific tests, you actually find out that there's like a whole lot of truth in it. So I was having a conversation with one of my managing partners and one of my managers that I just had a meeting, and they were congratulating me on more or less a job well done. And I was very clear to say that I had one of the strongest teams that I'd ever built over the last 18 years, and that I felt like a lot of our success had to do with our culture. And then as I was having that conversation, I noticed that, let's just say, Rebecca kind of scoffed at it. And in my initial error, it was her ego is being bruised, because when I go back to it, I'm like, this in particular group, she in fact, she put this group together. She's the one that actually hired this group. But her comment was, they don't know nothing about culture. I've just been able to find better candidates to actually hire. In that moment, maybe my ego was a little bit bruised, because like I said, I really pride myself on culture. But at 48 years old, like I can talk about culture, and I can say the words, the actions, the language that I work with people, that I'm trying to steer them in a culture. But what she's referring to is that we employ a lot of young people, and that their perception of culture inside of an organization is still very young. It's something that we have to work on educating them to where you can say, you enjoy this job, but why do you enjoy this job? And then actually trying to focus it in the that it is cultural. So when I started thinking a little bit deeper on that, that's when I started stumbling across some of that research. I was having a conversation with somebody, and she referred to a test where you'd take an apple and you would slice the apple in half, and you would put half of that apple in a jar and the other half in another jar. And the test was that you would speak positively and lavish praise on one jar or one half of an apple, and then speak very meanly and very negatively to the other apple or to the other half of the apple. And over a period of time, you would find that the apple that you were actually speaking negatively to started to do exactly what you thought that it would do, which is that it would start to rot, start to degrade. But the fascinating piece is that the apple that you spoke positively to did not, in fact, start to rot and degrade. And there is legitimate science behind this. And that's where I think that part of the miss, or maybe it's not a miss, maybe it's that the leadership of this country does not want you to be aware of, because then they find it harder to herd you and treat you like sheep. But the point is, it's the power of energy. So when I started looking at that, it was, why do I have the best team inside of this in particular operation that I've had in 18 years? Well, there was a certain shift in both my own mentality and talk, and what I was impressing upon Rebecca and the managers inside of the organization over the last 6 months. And I think that is what was the precursor of leading to a great team. And I'm saying that because I finally got to the point where I was so sick of the negativity, and I realized that a lot of it had to do with negative individuals that we would try and get through to. And I finally got to the point of calling no joy and being like, we've tried to get through to this individual. They are negative. They are casting negativity in the actual group. They are to the point of becoming toxic. And it was about having clear boundaries and saying, you got to go. Like, you are toxic to the organization. And so when I look back on how we actually got to this team, it's not so much about the culture, it's a point of pride for me. It was about establishing boundaries and living what you're talking, because at the point that I laid the boundaries to say we need to evaluate who is negative and who wants to be receptive to positivity, it was about getting rid of the negative people and then speaking positively to the group that wanted to receive that positivity, that where you would actually get a warm reception, where you were capable of shifting people's mindset. And because I've long said, I'm like, we're making coffee, we're making pizza. This is not rocket science, but like in any organization or any day of work, if you are allowing that negativity to seep in, well, it just does not matter what the work is that you're doing. It's going to be more mundane. The time that you're doing it is just going to suck because you are allowing that negativity to seep into the group. And if you're going to be a leader of the group, you have to lead by example, which means, I'm a pretty intense person when it comes to business, but because I want to laugh at myself, because I believe in the power of a smile, I try and rib people. I try and add moments of levity to lighten up stressful situations or times when the pressure is on. So when I look back at how did we get here, it's been my mindset of being like consciously aware of any type of negativity around me and then sizing it up. Am I capable of shifting this individual and getting them in a mindset where they are contributing to the whole? Or do we just need to get them out of the actual operation? And so when I go back to those scientific pieces, I'm realizing that part of what is occurring right now is that gelling of a group, because I got rid of all the negative individuals in the group. And then I started making sure that my words and my actions were congruent, that I was walking in with a smile on my face and looking for the small wins and looking for ways to praise them, looking for ways to reward them, looking for ways to thank them for being a positive addition. So we were able to actually change the mindset of a smaller group so that as the group has expanded and we've brought in new people, they have come into a positive environment. So they have been more enjoying of the training process and acclimating in with the actual group itself, because we got down to a positive group of people that truly came in looking to enjoy their work, enjoy their time with their coworkers, actually appreciating their customers. Because we had some people that would just be very negative about their coworkers or the training of their coworkers, to which that I'm reminding them, like, everybody starts from day one. Not everybody just comes in and easily acclimates to all of the training in a very positive environment. And then there has been a whole lot of negativity out there in the service-based businesses, is social media and whatnot, complaining about your customer base. And I'm just a big believer in, like, if it wasn't for your bad customers, there would be no comparative to appreciate your good customers. And there are some people that should be behind a desk looking at a computer, punching a keyboard, because they are not face-to-face customer service oriented people. So you look for people that they need that interaction and they want to appreciate those customers, that getting them to smile is a reciprocating thing where it builds positivity upon itself in general. And when it all comes down to it, it's just like everybody, I think, and I say that I'm making a by and large statement, everybody wants to be happy in life. There are some people that are just miserable and they don't even experience an internal happiness until they've succeeded in making somebody else miserable. I personally, those people are shit stirrers, that they want to live a negative life. And I'm the first to say, like, 100 miles away, like, stay away from me. I do not want that kind of attitude and mentality around me, because I want to be naturally happy. I want to breed positivity. I want to surround myself with it, because it does not, like, I understand everybody wants to live a good life, but you can live a very good life making hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can live a very good life making millions of dollars. You can live a very good life making hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. Or the exact opposite. You can make hundreds of thousands or billions and be negative and be miserable. It's a question of what type of life do you want to live? What do you want to be known for? What do you want your presence? Because everybody is energy. So if you have 4 people and you have a very good, strong, positive energy, and a 5th person walks into the group and they are known for being a negative individual, well, those are vibrations, and that vibration is going to disrupt the vibration of the other 4 people, because their energy is going to come into contact with them and they're going to drag them down. So if you want to experience a good life, if you want to build not only a productive team, but a happy team that actually comes to work appreciating what they do and ultimately give the best service to the customer. Because if you go into business to serve, like, it's that word of mouth that allows you to build a business. And the only way that you're going to build that business is to have a strong team of people that are positively affecting each other and the customer base that you're actually serving. So I look at this and I'm like, it's not rocket science, but maybe some people do need to be reminded that it's not just the words or me saying, hey, don't be a dick, be positive so that you can have a positive effect on people. Like, no, it is scientifically based that everyone and everything is energy. And the more positive that energy, the more healthy the actual organism, the more pleasurable of an experience you're going to have, the better life that you're actually going to live. And when you are aware of this and you do not do what I would consider to be right, which is obviously to be positive, then it becomes like you're aware. So now we're talking about willful ignorance. If you are somebody that displays willful ignorance, then, like, you have a problem. And again, I don't want you anywhere around me, because if you are smart enough to be aware, but you purposely are ignorant and you go out of your way to just be negative and drag everybody down, That's not the personality that I want around myself, because it doesn't matter whether I'm making hundreds of thousands or millions or hundreds of millions. I want to enjoy my life. I want to experience connectivity with other people. I want to experience positive things in my life that make me feel alive. And I want to be known and have a reputation for, and have a rapport with other people for injecting positivity into a group, for raising that level of positive energy. And I believe that it just leads to an overall happier and more fulfilling life. And coming back to the green slime or the apple test, like, you will live a happier, healthier existence by just simply contributing positive into your environment, by developing a positive energy, so that when your energy comes in contact with somebody else's, it is a warm energy. It is well received. You are welcoming to the group, whether in your personal or your business life. About much anything else that I say on this, I would be beating a dead horse. So I'm going to wrap this up by just saying, like, honestly, you can't tell me you don't know somebody that doesn't need to hear this. So if you're listening, please share the show. At the end of the day, it's like, I waffle, or not necessarily waffle, but like, not only do I want to have an impact on small businesses and small business owners and the people associated with small business, I'm looking at the world out there going, let's live a healthier, happier life. And that starts with you looking at yourself in the mirror. And part of not being your own worst enemy is part of that is being positive and being like, dude, smile. Like, there's nothing wrong with smiling. It's healthy. It's intoxicating. I was talking to a woman, and she's like, I think the world would be a happier place with more love. And I'm like, I don't disagree with that. Maybe people might struggle with that, but the world, it would definitely be a happier place with more laughter and more smiles, and a little not taking things so seriously, and a little bit more purposeful levity injected into relationships as a whole, whether they be personal or business. So, all right, that's my show. Until next time, you guys have a good night.